Hello friends, today we are having a look at the beautiful Art Impressions Front Porch series stamps and dies. And this series has a wonderful door with sentiments, and you see a little welcome mat there, and then you can get accessory stamps. So this one here is the Christmas set, and you can see all kinds of fun Christmas accessories that you can decorate your door, and you can even use those stamps for other things. But here we're decorating our door. The die actually cuts the door open, so it opens up and you can tuck fun little things in behind there. So come hang out with me and we are going to make this card together. I have taken a piece of craft cardstock and use a wood grain folder, and I'm just adding some Ranger Distress Oxide in ground espresso to add some details. I have a piece of Creative Scrapbooker Super Stock cardstock, which is lovely and thick. I had already scored it at 5.5, which is the center of this top folding card, and then I scored it at 2 3/4. So essentially I have a score mark in the center of the card and then in the center of the front panel. That's going to create an easel effect for this card, and it's a really simple card, but it has a lot of effect when you open that. We're using the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L Ultra Permanent Roller, and this adhesive is really nice and sticky. So here we're putting on our card base, and you notice that it's only adhered on the bottom half below that score line. I'm now using some Zebra Sensations colored pencils as well as some Zebra mild liners. These have a chiseled end on one end and then a bullet point on the other end. So you've got a fine as well as a thick end to color with. These are great, of course, for highlighting when you're doing schoolwork and any kind of work in the office, but I really have fun with it when I'm coloring. So for this technique, I'm actually coloring with colored pencils first, and when I color with colored pencils, I try to go all in one direction, and the colored pencils give this layer of almost like a gesso, and if you were painting, so it gives a little layer under the marker, and the marker goes on really nice and smooth. You can blend a little bit more than you would just on a regular piece of paper. So I use this technique for the few areas that were larger areas, and because I wanted to add this effect on the door and on the steps that was almost like a wood grain, because I'm using the chiseled end and I'm pulling it in one direction the whole way. This is the new neutral set from Zebra, and these markers are just so beautiful. I love the colors, and especially this neutral set is, I think, a must-have. So here's a look up close at the effect that you can get. And it's almost a softer look than if you were to color directly on, but you certainly can color directly on with these markers, and in the smaller areas, that's exactly what I did. So I actually looked at the cover of the stamp set just to get an idea for the gray, and I just outlined a few areas, and it gives the effect of just a bit of shadowing, but that you actually have a white molding area around that door. And I used that trick with the colored pencils underneath the marker on that joy sign that hangs on the door. And then you can see with this bow, I simply colored in with that bullet end of the marker because it's nice and thin. And I just go ahead and finish, I color up all the areas and just decide what colors that I want to use. The leaves, I'm using a little bit of colored pencil because I wanted to add a little bit of blending. So I used the green and went over the colored pencil, and then I'm going to use a little bit darker green just to add a few highlights. So it's just a fun way to get some variation when you want to have a little bit of highlights or shadows on your coloring. Here are some images that I've already colored up, and I'm going to pull out an adhesive sheet, and this is a Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L product, and the adhesive is in between the yellow part and then the backing. So you peel off the yellow strip, then you're going to lay the sticky part on the back of your paper, and I'm doing this so that I can die cut out my images and have essentially a sticker. Now all my pieces are cut out, and I'm peeling the backing off of the images that we had the sticker paper on. This is the Tonic craft pick, which has a really nice end, and I grabbed my Zebra SARASA porous pen, which is a really nice thin marker. There's lots of colors that come in the pack, and I'm just writing out my grading in handwriting. And I'm just going to color my little heart in with a colored pencil. When you're rolling this adhesive on, you want to pull it to the side when you remove the adhesive from the paper, and that way you don't get any strings. I'm grabbing the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L foam dots. So I've got circles and squares and strips, and it's nice because you can mix and match these. They're all the same height. And I'm just adding my greeting inside, and that will be the base where the easel card will stand. I just quickly traced the door because I want a backing that I can add something behind, and I just roughly cut that out with my OLFA scissors, and you'll see the score line that the die creates, so you can go ahead and open your little door. I'm just tracing around the door opening so I know where to add the color that I want to show through the windows that are in the door. And I'm using that chisel edge again to just quickly lay down some color. It doesn't have to be perfect. I used the Zebra MP 301 pencil. It's a really great mechanical pencil if you're looking for one. So I'm adding the foam tape on the back of the door, and then I stuck on the tree sticker, and I'm adding the backing on. So you're adding a little tree right into your little house. I'm cutting these presents in half because I want to tuck them into the door, but I figured I may as well use them in the card as well and just set them to the side. I'm going to adhere the door right onto the card, and now we're going to put these really fun lights, and you can see how well the die cuts these. They are so delicate. Now we do have the sticker on there, but because the wood grain creates some bumps, I thought I would add a few of these glue dots, and they are 0.12 of an inch, and they're really tiny, so perfect for any little tiny areas you need to stick down. I'm just adding all the pieces. If they're stickers, I'm going to stick them on, and otherwise I'm going to add some foam tape or dots, just whichever size kind of matches the best, and pop those onto my scene and create this really great little Christmas scene. Now that everything is attached, I'm going to use some Nuvo crystal drops and some crystal glaze. So this is White Blizzard. It's a clear drop, and it just shimmers so beautifully. I love adding it over things that I've colored. And then the crystal glaze is a lovely clear transparent glaze, so it will dry completely clear, but you'll have that really great glossy look. And there's a look at the card. It's all finished, nice and glittery, some fun elements, and when your recipient opens it, they will have a surprise and be able to stand this card up and display it for Christmas.